Filled with boundless despair and heartbreak, Ran boarded a plane to the United States alone. What she didn't know was that her departure was bought with Zhao Yongwan's own freedom and future. But this white lie turned out to be more devastating than the truth. He underestimated Ran's resolve to stand by him through thick and thin, and overestimated the kindness of his lie. While the decision was meant to protect her future, it also destroyed the most precious trust between them. Life in America was incredibly hard, and before long, father passed away, leaving her completely alone in the world. To afford her tuition, she washed dishes in restaurant kitchens every day, doing the dirtiest and most exhausting work. Due to exhaustion and malnutrition, she fainted in the kitchen one day. Upon waking, a CO worker delivered even more devastating news. She had lost her and Zhao Yongwan's only child. At her most broken moment, a struggling Chinese painter named Alan reached out to her. "We're both strangers here if you're willing.
Let me take care of you from now on."
For Ran, who was physically and mentally exhausted and extremely fragile, this companionship was the only thing she could cling to for survival. She accepted Alan, but from the start, their bond was built on sympathy and dependence rather than love. Meanwhile, back in prison, Yongyuan's good behavior earned him an early release after serving only 1 year. Upon his release, he channeled all his longing and guilt for Ran into a driving force for success. He took orders and went into wholesale, expanding his business more and more, from Beijing to Japan and then to Singapore. He finally brought his business to New York in 1997, the very city where the girl he longed for lived. In New York, life for Ran and Alan was far from easy. Alan's paintings went unnoticed, leaving the burden of survival almost entirely on Ran. She worked several part-time jobs while juggling various interviews. The once privileged girl had all her spark worn away by the hardships of life. Eventually, unwilling to be a burden any longer, Alan took the initiative to break up. By this time, Zhao Yongguan had become a successful businessman. He came to New York with only one purpose in his heart: to find Ran. At an art exhibition, he happened to notice an ignored painting in a corner, though it only showed half her face. He recognized Ran instantly. The painting was a profound metaphor. Alan could capture her likeness, but not the completeness of her soul, for the other half of her heart was forever reserved for Zhao Yongyuan, and only Yongyuan could see her entire story through that partial portrait. He bought all of Alan's paintings just to obtain Ran's contact information. Finally, outside Ran's apartment building, he heard those familiar footsteps once more. For Ran, the reunion was both awkward and heartbreaking. Her room was cluttered, a reflection of her life in disarray. She put up a front of strength, but her words were laced with distance.
Ran, listen to me, it's too late.
Yongyuan wanted to explain what happened back then, but she shut him out, claiming it was too late and she needed to rest. Zhao Yongyuan did not give up. Using his wealth, he became a major client for the travel agency where Ran worked part-time, and specifically requested her as his guide. Just like when they were children, she followed quietly behind him, listening to him describe the sights of New York. On the Brooklyn Bridge, seeing it covered with love locks left by couples, he borrowed a pen and quietly wrote a message on the bridge pleading for Ran's forgiveness. He arranged a dinner and even invited their childhood friend from back home. He wanted to create an opportunity to tell Ran the truth about the past. At the dinner, faced with Yongyuan's current success, Ran's insecurities and resentment were triggered.
"Now, you can buy out my time and make me dress like this, just to dine with you at the best restaurant in Manhattan, and show me how successful you've become. Now that I've seen it all, the game can end now, right?"
She turned and ran out of the restaurant, and Yongyuan chased after her. The late-night streets of New York, emotions suppressed for years, finally erupted.
"Why is it that all your life you only know how to follow me?"
I'm used to it.
These 4 simple words instantly crumbled all of Ran's defenses. Indeed, from childhood to adulthood, this man's entire life seemed devoted to following her. All the misunderstandings, resentment, and grievances transformed into a surge of love at this moment. She turned and threw herself into his arms, and they kissed passionately on the street. The weight of "I'm used to it" is heavier than 1,000 pounds. It wasn't a perfunctory remark, but the lifetime of devotion that the film always embodies. But fate's cruel twist was not over yet. The next morning, while they were still basking in the joy of their reunion, her ex-boyfriend Alan appeared with flowers, hoping to win Ran back. The moment he saw Yongyuan in the room, he understood everything. He turned to flee, only to be struck by a car.